Hello. Um, yeah, welcome. I've done a little bit of work on the called. Oh, turn it up a bit. So I've done a little work on the, you know, my terminal and stuff. So that's always good. I am currently working on getting a local file server to work. My complicated, convoluted setup. So I'll show you that here. Um, so yeah, I am trying to use NVim for my file editor, and I've set up tmux and all that fun stuff. Right now, I'm trying to get working. So how my networking setup works, that I SSH into a computer, and from there, I run Docker containers on different environments I want to run. So that way I can spin up a Vim development environment or a web development environment and not have to install these things locally on the computer. That way we can just do a little bit of cleanup and let Docker handle all of that. It's also easier on like updating, keeping dependencies updated, and working on the latest non-breaking system. And there's a lot that goes into that. Probably myself even higher, actually. Okay. That's now jumping me into the red. Okay. I need to... So right now I am working out of an SSH file because I'm not going to remember these commands in the future. I'm going to be completely honest. So we have this SSH file, and we have this Docker file. So within this Docker file, the dev.docker, it just grabs the latest Ubuntu release. It'll update and install Go, which is what we're using to run our localhost file server. And then it will expose the port 1580, which it should know that it won't be there. Then it will run bash, so that way we can interact and build these files and use Go as a language and interact with this environment. The file server that we have running, I have tested this. This works. It is just a simple piece of code where I'm creating a new mutex, only handling that index.html handler, and basically anything that's within source/client, which is our client folder, it will allocate any of those files. So if we go to like what's a good name, /server.html, it'll load that .html file. Hopefully we solve this server issue quickly, so that way I also want to get into some client loading stuff, because I've been working on my portfolio site, and I am doing a lot of SVG programming, so I need to be able to control when HTML is loaded whenever I need to cache it within the HTML DOM itself, and kind of helps with just making those things easier to use. So that being said, let's get started. Actually, right before we start, I want to go away again. We just started. Just 5 minutes or 5 seconds. Sorry. I am back. I just had to give my dog some treats for eating food. The rescue, so it's not very. He's getting used to it. Right. So let's go again. Let's go back to the Docker file and the server file should be working fine. So the only thing that we really need to modify here is this run SSH file. Oh, let me pull up the chat. I don't have them loaded right now. Oh, hello. Oh, it's just... At least we have an advertiser, right? Alright. So, what I'm trying to get is, so I have the network exposed as... Well, okay, so the way we kind of have the syncing between the container and our file system on our remote machine is that we're using volumes. And what it'll do is it'll sync up the current working directory to /root within our container. So anything that we're working on in our container is within our root, and it will, once we're building it to, it'll preload everything too. So cool, that's good news. The /int is interactive terminal. So this will launch us into a terminal. As you can see here, we're able to access the terminal and run basically any bash commands we need to, and interact with our project, which is the hope, the goal, and yeah. Hopefully in the future we can make this a bit more easier and more interactive. So this is the build command. All it does is look for docker conf file and names it as framework.dev, and this is the current working directory that it's looking for this stuff, I guess. Not exactly sure why that dot is there. It seems pretty unnecessary. I think it's just for if there's any other Docker files in there, it might load it. Hopefully it does nothing. Maybe that's what's going wrong. So let me open up another terminal below this so that I can show you what happens when we run this command. So everything is being loaded right now. Since it's already been pretty much cached, it doesn't do much. So we now run the docker.go.main, and when we curl the localhost at 1580, I'm not getting anything. And I don't know why I have that port exposed. Maybe it's Jazzy. We have this set to the wrong thing, because I have seen it be like that. But also let's expose the host there. Save that. We'll go close this out. We'll rerun it. Yeah. Alright, so the server is now running. We'll go down here, we'll curl it. There's nothing. Dude. Oh, I have that port wrong. That'll be handy to get, right? Huh? Or 15 8. Got ahead of myself a bit. Alright, so now the server started. They'll be able to connect. We can try bridge. Maybe that will be better. We're explicitly defining it. Although that should be default. Yeah, well, that's not what I wanted. Oop. To IP. Well, no. Alright, so if I bring you over to this browser over here, should have swapped over. Cool. Hopefully it looks proper. It is a bit stretched out, which fortunate, but it is what it is. So I have this article that's a basic, it's a very simple one. There's a bit more, a better version of that here, which is saying the difference between network bridge and all that. Maybe I can run this command. Sudo IP address show docker 0. Oh, okay. Let's try that. Okay, let's Alright, the one thing that's an issue with this is that we'd have to then expose this as a local. No, it doesn't work. Why? Alright, so I have to run that command here. Sudo not found, so we can probably just. Ooh. Oh, I don't have show. Oh. That's unfortunate. Alright. Oh, I had it set to. When I got it working, I had it set to .localhost, the network host. When alternatively, you can set the container to network settings to host such, and it will share the network stack with the Docker host. And this is on run. And from the container's viewpoint, localhost or the IP address will refer to the Docker host. Be aware that any ports you open will be open on the host as well, and it will not require the -p. So, alright, I guess let's try it. Let's read this over here. To access my xscale running on the Docker host, from containers in hosts mode in italics and keep the binding address equals and connect to that Docker host. Do use which you think it would work because it's not working for me. Yeah, let's do it. So this equals host. Let's put this before the volume. How about that? Maybe it's location. So where they have it is let's do the -rm too. Where's their command? All right, so it's -host and then the name. We also have the syncing volume, but let's whatever. -rm -net work equals capital H. There's no string, it's just host. Hey. Let's save that. Well, let's also copy this. Let's try this in terminal first. So we already have it built. So we'll move over that, we'll exit. Come on, copy it. Alright, there you go. Framework dev. You need sudo because I can get it to work in tmux. Run that go. Okay, so we started the server. We can. Alright, come on. Alright, there you go. Alright. Client send an HTTP request to an HTTPS server. Alright. We got that running. I have a page open for that goes to remote, and yes, let's do it. Hey, let's go. That is what I like to hear. Alright. So now we got that running. I would like to commit this to server. So we'll just do a little bit of git add star. Oh, yeah. Git dev.sh working. And we'll push this change. So this should be on the GitHub. GitHub is, hi, my name is Rusty. So, the same name as channel. I'll get around to putting those links in later. But now, it's working, which... Alright, let's go to our client stuff now. It's under source, client, lib. We don't necessarily need lib, but... Alright, source, client. I spelled client wrong. Alright, there you go. So, alright, so load. Do you want load H? We'll do load.html. Alright, so now we have that. Let's move back over here. Um, it says hello world, which cool. So our goal is that down below. All of my things are broken. I haven't used this in a month or two, which really unfortunate. Maybe it's because it's outside of where I was testing it. We'll do it another day. I'm not gonna work on this now, but get this load.html here. Oh, come on. It is 4. Okay. Let's finish this script. But we got it into a somewhat working order. Better than what it was last time. Alright, so normal mode. Fine. I think actually hitting quit there too. But anyways, let's. We don't need to go back there. Okay. But we also need. We need to make their templates. And we want to touch with slash. So we want a test template file just to make sure everything is working correctly. That we're loading this correctly. Okay. Going back into our script. So when we want to, in order to include what files we want, we want a tag that says slash include, and we want to provide it a source, which would be templates, and let's test HTML. Well, we want to have them specify the link just in case they want an image and stuff. We can add that in later, and then ideally want to include that, hey, we want to cache this so that way we can limit fetches if we need to. Although we want to have it be opt-in, because if it's a template that is currently loaded a lot, I mean, more likely you want stuff to cache, but you want to control your cache flow. Yeah, so this is what we would want. And let's save this file. There's not really much here. Not much else to do here. So let's add a template. So here we just want to in H2, since you only want one H1. Hi, we are trying to load HTML files within our index.html files using JavaScript. That way, I have recently been working on SVG programming on my personal project, but it is a complete mess. In working with SVG files, it limits you on what you can do with CSS. So if you import them into the HTML themselves, it will load that SVG into the DOM, which then you can manipulate. So this will give us the ability to do that. Whereas if we just dealt with the SVG files themselves, then I would have to use filter and all that to manipulate colors, or I wouldn't really be able to use any CSS animations and would have to use JavaScript in order to animate those SVGs. On top of that, it kind of gives us a little modular system with our HTML. So, for example, I'm just creating like a test template file that just says, something like title, and that way, if we have multiple pages, like the project I'm working on is my portfolio site, so it'd have like all my blogs and stuff. So if I have multiple pages, we're not constantly fetching the skeleton of the website. We're just changing the content that matters, and anything that we want to be static across the different pages, we can just cache, and that will just load from the cache instead of the HTML itself. One of the reasons why we're not doing like a server-side framework stuff, because it is hosted on GitHub. So basically, we only have access to a file server, and that's the cheapest way I could figure out how to do stuff. And I would like the source code to be available, so it's a win-win. I don't have to update what I'm working on there in multiple places, which helps prevent some like desync issues further down the line. So yeah. So now we have our template file here. Let's now go into our library. So one of the issues that we don't want to occur is that when the body is loading, we don't want to then check whether those elements are within the body. So we want to add an event listener. I can't type listener. And we want to have it on load. I don't really like to do the inline functions because it can get unwieldy sometimes, so we'll just do a regular function. And that way we can just reuse this right here to look through the DOM and fetch the loading. That way we can just have like a recursive, so if our template is then including something else, we just pass that through the template. So instead of having our main logic kind of hidden away, we can just use that. So we'll do that here. Let's get our inline function in, and there you go. We'll name it load includes, so that way we don't have that. There's a better name because most of the it's just more descriptive in what we're doing. One reason we're not doing web components is that we kind of, when we're reading from the stream, we kind of want to have access to that same functionality. So instead of, we would end up writing this function anyways to load it. So we just grab the content from that DOM once it's loaded, and then injecting, just passing it into this function, and then then handling it from there. And if we're doing this through the stream, we're loading it through XML HTTP request, we would just format that request because it would have a response header of type HTML or some XML derivation, so we can just load that using JavaScript. Then we can just pass that into this function. So we're not doing too much work there. Yeah. We will need a hook in order to mount the element. So I can't really, I don't know if I want to do like as well. I love doing all my hooks and CSS selectors because they're pretty versatile nowadays, and they're pretty easy to handle. I don't know, however, I don't know if I want to do a selector and then like how I want to render it, or if we just want to render it where the include is. For the moment, I'm just going to do it where the include is. We just grab the element. From that DOM, and then we just load it after that element, then delete the element. So essentially, where our include is where our new HTML will be loaded. So yeah. So let's see. I don't know how. All right, let's grab the DOM first. So on load, we will want to get the body. So we do that by calling query selector. Then that will give us the whole body DOM. Ooh, actually. Yeah. So once the document is loaded, that means the body is done loaded because it's the child component. And it only calls the load function when it and all its children are loaded. So we got the body tag. We then actually would we want a selector? Because we are grabbing a component from there, so yeah, no, we just pass in the DOM. Which makes this easy. So we just call the load include tag. This should be Perl, because if there is multiple, then we will want to handle it multiple times. And we just pass in the body tag. All right. So now actually let's do a little bit of prep. I typically don't remember how this is handled, but let's check out the MDN. Now there is example here. Maybe not. This is one of the few that doesn't have an example. Maybe the modern JavaScript. Well, yeah, there you go. Say open with the request, URL async user blah blah blah. Which that is, I think that's the data, right? I had to let my dog out real quick. I think that is the data under constructor. It's under open. So this is not even the right one. Open function. Open function. There it is. Async. What does async do? An optional Boolean parameter defaulting to true, indicating whether or not to perform the operation asynchronously. If this value is false, the send method does not return until the response received is true. Okay. Would we want we're gonna also wanna maybe we should probably name this parse and load, right? Because that's what we're doing, essentially. Oh, come on. That is a capital L. And we do just load. There you go. And we want this to be default because and no, this is our internal function. Defaults typically are just an API thing, so we'd want it. We expose this as an API. You can use JavaScript. I would be more inclined to include default values. I think, yeah, async in this case would be helpful, just in case you load like an HTML file that's it'd be insane if it was like 2 gigabytes, but like 200 megabytes or something crazy like that. So user password, these wouldn't technically be an issue. Oh yeah, okay, we'll just call it, and we just need the method and the URL, and the method would be a get method. So x XML HTTP response equals new XML H. Is it capitalized? We have an example here, right? Yeah, it is capitalized. HTTP. And then we call open. With our method of we get it capitalized. I'm gonna guess yes. And then our source. Yeah, because the user, I make the user implicitly include source. So this will open the connection, kind of priming it. And then we want to send it out. If we have a body, we then send out the body within our sent. We want to call onload, which handles the set up the loading into the DOM function. So once we didn't want to send, so let's do that. xhr.send. We're waiting for a response in that case. We don't really care too much about progress, but if we had a debug setting, that's what we would do to check if it is just failing in load. But for now, we don't care too much about that. So on the onload, we would take a function. And then we would want to, in the case, on an error, and we just call alert. Not looking for anything too crazy, too robust. And I'll go check and see if those send the error code. I don't think they do. Alright, so where's on air? Send to event. Yeah, it is passed through this function. We just alert error. Not alert. That was just hold on. Console dot error. Yeah, so this will send it as an error into the console. So we do and then give it one of those. We provide the source and like that. So it will say, hey, they failed to include the error, here's the source, and it will separate it, the error and the source. So here's how it errored. That way, if there's any issues, you know what goes on. That says event, not error. Probably look a bit more into what we were looking at. But where is the error listener? So adds listeners does handle event, takes that, error.type, error.loaded. Huh. I am gonna. Where's on the air? Where is it? Having doubts. I think it is an add event listener. what they're doing. Anyways, assume that's right. So it can, if it's a server error, and so you want to cache that, but doesn't matter too much. I'm gonna say no for now. We also need the mounting tag. We just do tag.after. I typically like to do let like a format div. Find this to be the easiest way to format strings into HTML. So that's a cool, instead of like kind of going through all the parsing and all that fun stuff. I kind of let the browser do that for me because I know that it would probably do a better job at doing that parsing than I would. So we just kind of do this like format div.innerHTML. We make the this response. All right, well. I accidentally hit Control Z because I am still used to edit anyway. Oh, that's unfortunate. Cool. Let's write that all over. Yeah, probably best to save. So let's do include tag. I just want to get something down. I want something to fail. I was hoping that would be the case. I don't really think this would be the best article to follow. Honestly, it's like W3 schools and just Stack Overflow. Wait, you set the response header, then you send it. It's more of a post request. I'm kind of looking for. It's oh, that's probably nifty, huh? So you get the GIF file. The response type is document. Ooh, we would probably need a set response type, huh? Yeah. Oh, it's sent as an XML. Interesting. So I didn't need to go through all the issues. Okay. The WC specifies adding HTML parsing to the XML HTTP response, which makes sense. It's in its name. Which originally support XML parsing. This feature allows web apps to obtain HTML sources as a parsed DOM using HTTP request. Limitations to discourage the use of XML HTTP request. HTML support is not available in this in synchronous mode. So it has to be async, which is something we would want. We have to specify the response type to be document. Limitations avoid wasting time parsing HTML uselessly when legacy code uses the same thing. In the default mode, retrieve the response text for text/HTML. Also, this limitation avoids problems with legacy code. That assumes that response XML is null for HTTP error pages. Alright, so if we want to check if we're not getting HTML, we just check if this is null. And like, hey, this failed. You can force async with nature of the feature. So, if the window doesn't have this, return false. Don't care for that. Otherwise, get a new request. Font type, document. Chances of detecting exactly if a browser supports HTML parsing. Because testing with data URL would end up testing with data URL at the same time. Like, dealing with like old browser stuff, it's a little annoying. Because it's just like API wasn't exactly figured out at the time. I mean, it's not figured out now. There's web browsers APIs all over the place, but a little better. I'll probably get this implemented but not tested today. Yeah. So, all right. And then after that, basically after we get to where we were and kind of ready to go, we'll call it a day. Oh, wait, you don't need to parse that body tag. Oh, okay. I think we got what we wanted. So, yep, oh no. This was add event listener. Right, so on load, we wanna I'm gonna specify tag. We wanna get the document body tag, and basically you're doing two searches though. Just do this. Since basically all this does is search the whole body, the DOM, for include. No. That won't work. Because we kind of want to limit it to the body, so if we fetch the body, then only search the body. Yes, it's more computation, but I believe this will also search the head tag and try to add it there. Which I do not know if that's going to mess things up or not. Honestly, just don't put in the... Is there an include tag? That's probably something we should probably check. I believe I checked this earlier. something about X include. XML. And then there is the XLS include. Merges the contents of one style sheet with another. All right, no, I think we're good. It's not something we have to worry about in the head. And so we do a for of loop. Include tags. So we do, there's an include tag inside the include tags. We want a load tag, which we then go through that response. And this will just kind of like bombard everything. So we just do a tag. Okay. So it wasn't as complicated as I was making it out to be. Ultimately, I do want to change this variable though, because I think we will be calling methods from it, and I do not like interacting with, I don't like the dot syntax after a snake case. It's kind of, I like to name my functions depending on how I interact with them. It kind of gives an idea of like, hey, this is how, is that how I intend to use this variable? It primes my brain to interact with it in certain ways. Right. So once we get the include tag, we need to get the source. So we want to say I got get attribute. And otherwise, if it doesn't have a source, we probably want to air it. So we want this to be null. Oh wait, if we can just do truthiness. Wait, what does get attribute return? Element.get attribute contains strings. Is it null? Oh no. I would return null, or it's either. I would rather have it as that. So just in case it returns null, we're going to do the question mark. Alright, yep. So now that we have the source, and we can grab any other things, but we're just working on loading the thing for one. But that since it's a single name variable, HTTP fonts. I usually do top case for dot syntax camel case for function calls, and snake case for variable slash like primitive interactivity stuff. It's kind of like allows me to normalize that syntax across functions or cross languages. So when I'm working on Python or Go, I can follow the same schema. But yeah. Cool. All right, so now we have that. Let's pull this back up. Where did it go? Yeah, this right here. No. There you go. Yeah, let's pull this back up. We want to just we'll do the unload. We probably should do that here. Yeah, because we're opening up. And that's a function call. So that you want to do you want the create a new execution context. Out of that, we don't want to do the inline. And then we do, because once it's done, we want to do the include tag. And inject the HTML response after that. I hope that allows us to do partial responses. Oh, I don't actually know if it does. Oh, we'll find out. So it was a get and it was all caps, so that was cool. And then we do the source because it's explicit. And then we want to specify that we're expecting the document, and then we want to send the response. All right. So we have a bit more to do on this onload function. Okay. L tag. Yeah. All right. So you just go to the parent node and remove the child node of D. Figured that'd be the case. So in case I just copied this from Stack Overflow, I mean, there's probably just like there's just the remove. I don't know why I go to Stack Overflow sometimes. Because we can just literally call remove. Yeah, there's remove method, which just removes the element from the DOM. Once we have it, it will remove it. Cool. So this should work. I don't see why it wouldn't. Oh, maybe the response type. So let's save it. We will reload this page. Like this. Body. Hello world. Okay. Give me my response. Oh wait, let's turn that off. We're not working. We don't care about that. That's fine. Why isn't it updating? Did we not save the HTML? No, we did not. No, have we not been saving stuff? So, save that. Oh. Why is this not loading that? That's fine. Alright, so the error that we're getting on our server is just a TSL handshake error. Which we're loading the content anyway, so it doesn't matter. Oh. We're not loading it, but we are. I wonder if it doesn't auto-update. Let me try something. We'll see. Run it again. Now we have the server. Yeah. Huh. Not getting any errors? Nope. And so we got our templates, which is not saved either. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe it was working. We'll do it just like but this is new. No, because we're not even getting the script tag. Oh, we're not getting the script tag because I didn't include it either. But that's not good. Because that means our include tag's not being included. Let's see, let's go to sources. Oh no. Right. So I go back to the index.html page. I don't know. Go back here, we should have the include. This. Our include is similar to how we include script files. Oh, let me save this. Here. It should fail. Yes. So it is loading. And if we... Oh, what I meant to do. Did we add another one? Oh, it's that H1 actually. We'll say, title, right? That way. Run this. Go there. I think I need to rebuild. That's alright. Exit. We'll just run it again. That's alright. We'll go back to this Docker thing and fix it later. Alright. Oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, so let's just do it. Do this manually. Nope. Framework dev and then follow up. I wonder why it won't work in the SSH file. Huh. I mean, I made it sudo, so it should work. Yeah, there it is. But there's no update. Alright, I'm saying that a lot too. ls cat the index HTML. Not updating. Why? My Control S isn't working. All my key binds aren't working. Okay, I guess I'm gonna go through and save them all. Yeah, no. There you go. Go to sources. Yeah, why is that doing that? So let's go to templates. Yeah, okay. I'm now confused even more. How? What? In Vim. So now we're taking what's in our indexation HTML and we're writing it to every one of these files? What if... Alright. Control save. Then we write it. Alright, okay. What? Oh, yeah. I don't get it anymore. Is it because it's probably my server. Alright, because I have it just loading the root. But I'm making... Okay, yeah, I know it. Alright. I know I said if I implemented the solution, well, my server is wrong. It's not. I put my server in root because it wasn't working. Go. Hey. I think this is something we will work on next time. Because we are getting our index.html page, but we're not getting a file server yet. Yeah, well, thank you for joining. Until next time, good day. Bye-bye.